Hello again, Credit Suite Socials. Happy Saturday. I hope everyone is enjoying their weekend so far. My name is Carl Peterson. I'm Credit Suite's content and social media lead. And today's topic is absolutely just critical for any business owner, and it is preparing for financial uncertainty, right? It's something that every single business, regardless of the size, or industry or age or even cash flow has to always consider. But don't worry, it's not about expecting the worst. It's actually about empowering yourself and having what you need to handle anything that the market throws your way. As a business owner, I'm sure you've heard this phrase before. The question is never if, but when, right? Surely you've heard that. And having ebb and flow is simply just part of it. So today we are going to be hyper focusing on some of that uncertainty. Over the last few years, we've seen a lot of change. We've seen rising inflation. We've seen tons of very infamous supply chain problems and even shifts in customer behavior. So I say we dive right into today's topic and touch on a few of these things, but also making sure that you can walk away from this live stream saying, okay, I have what I need to know that my business is prepared for whatever may come. So I say we dive right in, starting with the dream of guaranteed success versus reality. Let's start by acknowledging something everyone in business wishes for, and that is simply just guaranteed success. If only hard work and passion were all it took, right? But the reality is very, very different. External factors like market shifts and economic change and global disruptions are always going to be at play or just around the corner. Think about companies like Blockbuster, for example. So famously, it was thriving for many, many years, and then streaming services came along and absolutely changed everything pretty much overnight, right? And then by the time that Blockbuster attempted to jump onto this massive market shift, it was far too late. It's a very famous, tragic story. I loved Blockbuster. I wish Blockbuster was still a thing, but famously, that happened, and they were too late. Or how about businesses that faced major financial issues due to the pandemic, which forced them to kind of have a decision of either adapting or closing, right? I think this just kind of puts an extra focus on the importance of resilience and agility as a business owner. So, resilience and adaptability aren't just nice to have. They're not just like nice little extra perks as a business owner. They're absolutely essentials, right? So, resilience gives you the grit to keep going through hard times, no matter how hard or how long that may be. And then agility means that you can actually pivot quickly when those new challenges arise. So, take the restaurant industry, for example. Speaking of the pandemic just a second ago, during the pandemic, many restaurants were forced to pivot to online ordering or curbside pickup or even delivery in order to survive. And if, even though many did not, most or many definitely did as well. And that's because they decided to do those pivots. So, resilience and agility, you got to have that checkbox as a business owner. Let's talk about some more major changes in business and financial conditions. First off, record breaking inflation, right? So, in the last few years, we have seen inflation levels not encountered in decades. But what does that actually mean for businesses? Well, it kind of means everything, right? It affects absolutely everything. It's higher cost for raw materials, labor, energy, utilities, anything and everything in between, right? Imagine you're running a manufacturing business, which some of you may be in chat, and suddenly the cost of steel doubles. This impacts your pricing, and then immediately potentially leads to way fewer customers because you're going to have to raise those prices up. And this happens all the time across so many different industries. The supply chain has been also a hot topic and has been impacted across almost every industry in the last 5 years. So this affects anyone relying on imported goods or technology. and hundreds of, maybe even thousands of other things. I'm sure we're all familiar with the recent semiconductor chips, the shortage of them. So that affected auto manufacturing, that affected smartphone production, that even affected appliances. You look at those three different industries and you think there's absolutely no overlap between a smartphone production and auto manufacturing and appliances, but there is always a piece that's linking. And because of that one little shortage, it was just kind of a spider web drip down effect, and it affected all of them. A resilient business, though, is one that actively seeks out backup suppliers or even keeps a buffer stock for that rainy day. We're also seeing that consumers are also adapting, more so in recent years as well. So, with worries about a potential recession on the rise constantly, many people are saving rather than spending. This isn't any sort of breaking news. This is common. This you surely know this, and you may be one of those people that are deciding to save rather than spend. So, if you're in retail, for example, you might notice customers opting for essentials over non-essentials, or going for the budget brands over the maybe the premium brands. I think this month is going to be very telling for the retail industry because we have officially entered their peak season, and seeing those numbers and how it plays out this year is definitely going to be interesting to watch. But let's continue. Let's talk about preparing now versus facing consequences later. For any business facing rising cost, proactive steps now can prevent a future crisis. Again, this isn't breaking news either, but it's something you have to keep in mind. One approach is to just simply negotiate with suppliers. If your current supplier is charging more than maybe the guy down the street, look for ways to consolidate orders or lock in prices through maybe longer term contracts, or just simply say, hey, the person down the street, bring them into the discussion. But negotiating, however that looks for you in that specific situation, definitely should be an option for you. If you rely heavily on one supplier, maybe it's time to consider some alternatives, right? So imagine a furniture maker relying on a single lumber provider. A supplier disruption could mean delays or complete stoppages, and that obviously directly affects that business. So having alternative suppliers means that you can actually keep operation running even if one source dries up. So diversifying your suppliers is a very good way to potentially protect that from happening for you and your business. So here's why preparing for financial uncertainty actually matters. Think of preparation as kind of best way of putting it is kind of a long-term investment. So it's not just about survival during these downturns. It's actually about creating a foundation that will benefit you even in good and bad times. So it's kind of an evergreen thing that happens, right? It's also important to focus on balancing optimism with realism. You can be optimistic about growth while also still realistic about risk. For example, an optimistic business owner might invest in expanding inventory for holiday sales, but a prepared business owner will set aside funds in case sales don't actually meet those projections. But preparation has benefits beyond survival, just like practicing a sport makes you better at it. Practicing financial prudence creates habits that strengthen your business, and also managing cash flow better, budgeting careful or more careful, and then also tracking expenses. These are all skills that benefit you all year long. This isn't just a season to season situation. Here's some practical steps to prepare for that financial stability, right? So let's talk about budgeting. Take a look at every line item. Are there areas where you're overspending? Perhaps there's a subscription service that your company barely uses, or marketing expenses that aren't necessarily generating enough return. Eliminating these unnecessary costs kind of frees up capital for essentials pretty much instantly. And I'll let you know that it's extremely easy to actually, as a business owner and a consumer, I'm guilty of this as well. From a consumer side of just kind of subscribing for something or paying for something and just kind of out of sight, out of mind, letting it run in the background and then completely forgetting it. So going through every single line item will help you not only possibly free up some capital, but also remind you, hey, I totally forgot we're paying for that. So it's always nice to do every once in a while. And then after trimming up that budget a little bit, think about your business's actual financial goals for the next 1 to 5 years. If you're planning to open a new location, are you on track to do that? Are you on track to actually afford that without taking any kind of excess debt? These are questions that you will find out when you actually look at your business's financial goals and set them and track them. You should also consider creating a contingency plan. So consider scenarios where you may need to adapt your plans due to an economic downturn, for this example. For instance, if you plan to expand your team, could you still achieve your goals if hiring is delayed? These are questions you have to ask, and a contingency plan lets you adjust in real time without derailing any of your main objectives or having any kind of snowball effect of, well, because this didn't happen, now this can't happen, and now this can't happen, and now this can't happen. So contingency plans will keep you in the lines that you need to stay in. But all of these tips can only get you to that next checkpoint. And obviously, a lot can happen in between checkpoint to checkpoint to checkpoint, which is exactly another reason why you should absolutely be leveraging business credit as a financial safety net. Business credit is a powerful tool. It enables your business to access funds without affecting your personal finances. Building business credit early allows you to secure better financing options when you need them and also when you don't need them. And you can build business credit even if you're starting small. So many vendors offer starter accounts that don't require high revenue. We talk about this all the time on these live streams and on the Credit Suite social media accounts and also YouTube videos. We have dedicated YouTube videos on our Credit Suite on our Credit Suite YouTube channel. We have dedicated talking about starter vendors. It's a huge asset to newer companies or smaller companies or even older companies that are just starting out with business credit. So many vendors offer these, and you just have to look for them or just simply go on our blog or YouTube to check that out. But consistently paying on time builds your credit profile, which helps you when you actually need larger loans down the road. Having a solid business credit profile means access to better rates and higher limits and more options in those times of needs. Imagine you want to open up a second location or buy equipment. Good business credit can make that way more realistic for you, regardless of your personal credit and finances, and regardless of the current or upcoming economy. And when I say regardless of the economy, it's important to understand that so many businesses lean into that uncertainty in order to reach high levels of success during that time. So it may seem counterintuitive on the surface, but economic uncertainty can actually present opportunities for growth. Take advantage of these lower costs for certain resources or less competition in certain areas for your business. Think about it. While everyone else, including your competition, are kind of pulling back on growth opportunities, business credit could actually allow you to tap into that pullback and rocket ship your expansion and your product and your cash flow and your customers and your technology and your research and your marketing, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I'm sorry, my camera keeps autofocusing. That's driving me crazy. I hope it's not driving you crazy either. Or I hope it's not driving you crazy too. Anyways, this happens all of the time. This isn't some far-fetched idea. This isn't some kind of get rich quick scheme. This is a tactic that typically, when it's done correctly, works. And there's a lot of reasons that we saw so many businesses have giant booms during the pandemic. One of the main reasons is because they were ready for it. Of course, they didn't know what It was, but that's the beauty of having that safety net in place, right? It doesn't matter what that challenge may be. You can look at it head on and not even break a sweat whenever it actually comes knocking on your door. And let's pretend for a second that there's no uncertainty whatsoever. Okay. Let's pretend that in this perfect world scenario where everything is fine and it's all just a guaranteed success, you still have a way to stop using personal finances and leaving your cash flow alone. But then you get to mix in the reality of the uncertainty in real life. And, again, whatever that may be and whenever that may be. And then you also get to stop using personal finances, leave cash flow alone. And you also have a giant peace of mind and something you can leverage against the market, economy, and your competition. And to that point, it's simply just an absolute no-brainer. Why wouldn't you want these things? And it's all about business credit, business credit, business credit. So I turn this over to you, chat. Do you have that financial magic wand you can wave whenever you need it? And as we've discussed multiple times in this stream, do you have that magical financial wand even if you don't need it today? If you just have it in your back pocket, do you have that? Because this is more than just being a safety net. It's an absolute essential. As I wrap up, I want to make sure that this stream is well worth your time. So you have to know about Credit Suite's brand new tool, Fundability Scan. The team has worked extremely hard on this, and we just launched it a couple of weeks ago. It's designed to specifically tell you what lenders see about your business and the red flags that are tied to it, okay? Which is absolutely incredible. But the coolest part is it only takes 60 seconds. Literally, it only takes 1 minute to get this information. Credit Suite has helped over 60,000 business owners secure funding. We have millions of downloads on our business credit guides that we offer for free. And for the last decade, we've been widely considered an industry leader in this space. We've taken everything that we've learned and everything that we know and put it into this tool for you. So I hope that you use it. And I also hope that it officially gets you on that path of so much more success for your business. You can start the 60-second scan at fundabilityscan.com. That is FUNDABILITY scan.com. I think I've talked about it longer right now than it actually will take you to find those answers out. It is an incredible tool, and it can reveal some very crucial information about your business that you may have zero idea about beforehand. So you can save a lot of time and a lot of denials by in literally 60 seconds finding out what may be just around the corner. So again, that is fundabilityscan.com. And with that, that is today's stream. Make sure to drop a like and subscribe on whatever platform you're watching us on right now. If you haven't already, we upload content daily and have these live streams 2 times a week. So we'll be back on this live this upcoming Tuesday. We look forward to seeing you there. Hopefully, have a great rest of your weekend. And don't forget to check out that Fundability Scan, fundabilityscan.com, to get you on the path of funding success. Hope you all have a